advantage of Encore Energy's projects. Call now to learn how you can potentially achieve 20 or more years of income and deduct 100% of every dollar invested against all forms of income. Call 1-800-803-8511. That's 1-800-803-8511. Oil investments involve a high degree of risk and actual results may vary.
Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
The views and opinions expressed by the host and callers of this program are not necessarily the views of Genesis Communications, its management, or its sponsors.
Genesis Communications presents the show that's helping people see better and feel better all over Florida. It's Ask the Doctor with board-certified optometric physician, certified nutritional specialist, and popular radio host, Dr. Michael Lange of Lange Eye Care and Associates.
Doctor, my eyes, I cannot see the sky. Is this the price for having learned how not to cry?
Okay, good morning. Welcome to Ask the Doctor. I'm your host, Dr. Michael Lange of the Lange Eye Institute and Fortify Vitamins. Here each and every Saturday morning live to answer any and all questions you may have regarding your vision and eye care. I've been hosting Ask the Doctor since April of 1993 on multiple radio networks throughout the great state of Florida and live video streaming all over the world. You can actually check us out on News Talk Florida Facebook page. Watch us live at News Talk Florida Facebook. You can check me out right now. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. And remember, if this is for educational purposes only, never replaces a comprehensive eye examination. You can learn more about me at drmichaellang.com, langeyecare.com, or learn more about the nutritional products I've developed and the research that's gone into them at fortify.com. That's Fortifeye, fortify.com. Also, I see patients 5 days a week at the Lange Eye Institute. The Lange Eye Institute is in the Villages, Florida. It's close to 40,000 square feet. We do everything from major eye surgery, nutritional eye care, to routine eye care, contact lenses, pediatric to geriatric, and everywhere in between. The Lange Eye Institute. Let me give you the phone number if you'd like to set up an appointment for the Lange Eye Institute. It's 352-753-4014. That's 352-753-4014. 4014. Also, we're getting ready to take some calls here, but before we go to the first call, I do want to mention a doctor's going to be calling in a little bit, a doctor by the name of Michael Joseph. He's a doctor of natural medicine who specializes in holistic nutrition, nutritional deficiencies, food allergies, digestive solutions, and organic acid test interpretations. He's accredited by the American Accreditation of Drugless Practitioners, certified naturopathic medicine. He's also certification in integrative medicine from the Mental Health and Restorative Medicine, and certified in holistic health by the Columbia University Teachers College. And he's been, since 2002, practicing. He's an authority on food allergies and intolerances and how they transition to a non-allergic lifestyle. His expertise extends to the therapeutic use of probiotics for digestive system repair. Anyway, Dr. Joseph is going to be a guest on the program. He's going to call in. He's with Hemocode. Write this code down. Hemocode. You're going to get $100 off if you use my name, Lange. So if you go to hemocode.com, this is a way to check for food sensitivities in the privacy of your own home. It's not that expensive, but use my name, Lange, Lange, as the promo code. You get $100 off. All right, we're going to go to the phones. The first caller of the morning. Let's see. Steve's been on hold for a while, I think. Steve in Clearwater, good morning.
I butted in front of Bob.
Yes, you are.
I tell you, it gives me a sense of power. Listen, I saw an article this week about the Apollo astronauts, and they have found a lot of them are dying now. They compared the cancer rates of the Apollo astronauts, which were not protected by the Van Allen radiation belt around the Earth, compared to low Earth orbital astronauts like that went up in the shuttle, compared the cancer rates of the moon people with the non-moon people. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I thought it's a massive difference. It's like a 4 times greater incidence of cancer in those who went to the moon. Now, what I thought is immediately, and because I have eye problems, is there any evidence that they had eye damage too? Because there's a lot more radiation coming through their helmet and everything else. I couldn't find anything on that, but I did find a very interesting thing that they all reported. All the Apollo astronauts reported these white streaks that they could see. It was like a hallucination, these white streaks. Well, what they were was the cosmic rays were going through the retina, and they were activating the eye, and they were seeing these streaks. It was deionizing and depolarizing the retina. And my question is, couldn't that information be helpful in developing some type of way for us to see with electronics or something? And I got another question real quick, because I'm going to get off because you got other callers. You know this thing about the Turpins that kept their children in the house, and they were prisoners for like 10 or 15 years?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
One of what's very interesting to me is that the police in the police reports massively underestimated the ages of the children. The 18-year-old they thought was 10. The 13-year-old they thought was 7. You know what I'm saying? Just this massive. Now, this is interesting. They starved the children for years. What is the one thing that slows the aging process for sure? Caloric restriction.
Right. Wow.
So now, parents out there, if you want your kids to live a long life, you have two beautiful, loving role models in the Turpins. That's all I'm going to say. I got to go.
All right. Thanks, man.
Okay.
All right. Actually, Steve brings up a valid point. I hope he's still listening. There is actually a syndrome, and a lot of astronauts know about this, and they might not want to go to Mars or wherever. It's called VIP, if I recall. It's called Visual Impairment Intracranial Syndrome. And astronauts get this. And I think about 80% of them do. And when you think about it, gravity on the Earth pulls the fluids down toward the feet. You don't get that when you're in the space. It doesn't happen in the space. So what we think is this extra fluid in the skull increases the pressure in the brain and in the back of the eye, because a lot of these patients, they become patients. A lot of these astronauts are developing increased intracranial pressure, but they're also developing swollen optic nerves, a type of papilledema, which causes vision impairment. And also, after a few years out, 4 to 5 years out after the mission, most of them are developing cataracts as well. So, flying into space can have ultimately some vision problems, and they'll have to study this a little bit more. All right, that's great. Steve always has a lot of interesting stuff to add to the program. But yeah, visual impairment intracranial syndrome is what astronauts can indeed get. All right, you're listening to Ask the Doctor. I'm Dr. Michael Lange. Let's go back to the phones here in just a second. Well, let me see what we got here. I think Bob's on the next line, and we're going to see. I think it's Bob. Maybe not. Yeah, Bob's next. Nope. No, I think it's Steve's next. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm getting confused here. Steve in Bradenton. Steve, good morning.
Good morning, sir. How you doing?
All right. How are you doing?
Pretty good for a one-eyed fat man, I guess. I got questions about these injections. On November 22nd, they gave me the Osidex injection. He said it's a 3-month shot. He brings me back December 27th and gives me the Eylea, and he said it's a 3-month shot. And I got a appointment Monday with Dr. Snyder, and I know he's going to want to do Avastin. Can you get too much of those shots if they're meant for 60 days and they're giving them to me every 30 days?
Well,
is that good or bad?
No, you can do an Avastin or an Eylea shot, about every 6 weeks or so. That's really almost the gold standard. And then the other can be used in conjunction. But you wouldn't want to have an Eylea and an Avastin injection done in the same week. I think that could be too much. But then again, that's up to your retina specialist to see ultimately what the game plan is.
And another thing is, I had a macular pucker a couple of years ago and had surgery for that. And now he's telling me that it's coming back. I might have to do it again. Have you ever heard of that?
A macular pucker. Now, what did you say about the macular pucker?
I had surgery on that about 2 years ago.
Right.
And last time I was in there about a month ago, he said that it's reforming. It might have to redo the surgery.
Right. So that's an epiretinal membrane peel, and sometimes you do have to have multiple procedures to eliminate that. That's absolutely correct. I mean, you've had a lot of issues with your eyes.
Yeah, and shortly after I had that last surgery on that, I had a detached retina. Now, when you're in there doing that peel, doing that macular pucker operation, is there a chance the scalpel or something touches the retina and becomes detached, or is that far away from that?
No, that's a very delicate procedure, Steve. Remember, your retina is kind of like wet tissue paper. So any surgery, even the hands of the most competent surgeon, you have potential problems, and a retinal detachment is a problem that can occur doing an epiretinal membrane peel. Absolutely. So before doing surgery, you always have to ask the doctor, does my benefit outweigh the risks? Okay?
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Did you get your new car yet?
Yeah, that's right. I haven't had a show in quite a while now because I've been traveling. I went and picked up a motorhome in Arizona. Then I had to pick up the car in Dallas. I do have the new race car, ACR Extreme. It's maxed out. It's got all the bells and whistles for road racing. I actually was just at the Winter Festival at Sebring and tracked it for 4 days in the advanced class and took home 5 dominated classes. I dominated the class in 5 firsts out of about 10 races. So it's a fast car. I'm looking forward to Birmingham in about 3 weeks. So I'm actually putting a new roll cage into it as we speak, and I'm trying to lower the weight by about 200 pounds. So I'm finding ways of lowering the weight, and then I think I'll be even faster once I have a new roll cage in there and 200 pounds less. So I'm looking forward to that. I'll keep everybody posted.
Is it faster than the other car?
It is. I actually went about 12 miles an hour faster down the back straightaway. It doesn't have any low end. It's all high end, top end now. But yes, it is faster.
What's the red line on something like that?
About 7,500.
Yeah, that's good.
Uh-huh.
All right. So as far as my Avastin shot coming up, you think I'll be okay on that, even though it's only been a month since I had the last?
I think that is. Yeah, I think that's a fine time limit. But once again, you need to talk with your retina specialist about that. But yes, that's not too early.
Have you ever heard of these shots making the vision get worse instead of better?
Yep, absolutely. It can sometimes do that. Remember, you're dealing with this diabetic retinopathy, diabetic maculopathy, and that's a tough disease to control. And they have, these injections are the best that we have now, light years ahead of what we used to do with all the lasers. So, I mean, you get the best of the best working on you. So, all you can do is have a little positive mindset, a little prayer, and hope your doctors are doing the right thing.
Yeah, because after the last one, I went from 2080 to 2200. It really went downhill.
Right,
and it still hasn't come back yet.
Give it a little time.
Okay. Thank you, Doctor, for all your time. I sure appreciate it. It's always a pleasure.
All right, Steve. Take care. Bye-bye. All right. I think Bob was on hold, but he probably had to go. But Bob probably had a question, if he's still listening, regarding oatmeal and cholesterol. You got to remember, oatmeal is a soluble fiber, which has some evidence that it does lower cholesterol. And I got to tell you, experts aren't exactly sure how it works. But when you digest this type of fiber, it kind of becomes gooey, and researchers think that in your intestines, it sticks to the cholesterol and helps stop it from being absorbed. And there's some other theories out there, too. So hopefully, Bob, that answers your question. Maybe we'll take that call at another time, or you call back. All right, you're listening to Ask the Doctor. I think Dr. Michael Joseph may be on hold here. Let's see. Dr. Michael Joseph, thanks for holding. Is that you?
This is me.
Good morning. Thanks for calling.
Good morning, Dr. Lange. Thanks for having me.
And so I introduced you a little while ago. Why don't you go ahead real quick and tell our audience a little bit about who you are?
Well, my name is Dr. Michael Joseph, and I am very happy to be here with Dr. Michael Lange. My background is in natural medicine and in holistic integrative nutrition. I specialize in nutritional deficiencies, food allergies and food sensitivities, the digestive system, and I found that the basis of my practice starts with the digestive system. And when we're talking about the digestive system, we always talk about food and food allergies. I've been doing this for about 15 or 16 years, and I have a doctorate in natural medicine and an accreditation from the Texas Chiropractic College and another one from Columbia University. So I've been around the block a few times. I've worked pretty much all over the country. And the reason why I got started in this sort of stuff was for my own personal reasons. I never intended on having a private practice or even doing this professionally. I was in my mid-20s. I was 25 years old, and I was really sick. And in fact, my life was so bad, and I was so sick that I wasn't really able to work or really able to function. So I was actually renting a room in a guy's house, and this guy was pretty violent and pretty aggressive. He actually attacked me a couple of times. So it was a terrible period of my life. So I decided to go to school for nutrition because I needed to get well. So I went to this school, but and I showed up to the first day of classes, and I didn't have any money to pay for the classes, and it was like a $10,000, $12,000 program. And I said, look, you guys are going to enroll me in this school, and I'm not going to leave until you do. So they invited me to come back the next day, and they found out that someone on their staff had gone home to Puerto Rico or something, and he wasn't going to be able to work at the school anymore. So they hired me on a work-study program in exchange to attend the classes. So about a year and a half later, I wound up working with a doctor and treating his patients for cholesterol and weight loss, and it was very successful. And one thing led to another. 10 years later, I finished my doctorate, and here we are. So my entire purpose for getting involved in this was to help myself, and I discovered that if you help yourself, that's a really great first patient that you can use that to help other people. And about a year ago, I was hired to work with Hemocode USA to upgrade and facilitate their new testing modality. So here we are, and I'm happy to be here.
Fantastic. For our listeners out there, you're listening to Ask the Doctors this morning. It's Dr. Michael Lange with my very welcome guest, Dr. Michael Joseph of Hemocode. And if you've got a question, you can give us a call at 866-977-4820, 866-977-4820. And we're actually got a caller, Michael. Bob is going to be on the he's got a question here, and we can both maybe answer his question. So let's see if I can put you. Nope. He's not on hold anymore. I see. He's got a question, though. All right. If oats are not a natural deterrent to cholesterol, then what would you recommend? Okay. So, Dr. Joseph, since we have you on there, some natural ways of lowering cholesterol. I mean, I don't love oats. I mean, oats have some anti-nutrient attributes. I think if you eat oats by themselves and you don't take your vitamins with it, you're probably okay. But oats have been shown to lower cholesterol maybe a little bit. But what else can help with cholesterol, Dr. Joseph?
Well, that's a very good question. And cholesterol is a big issue now because of the athletic connections between elevated cholesterol and heart disease. And when someone asks me about lowering cholesterol, there are a couple of things that come to mind. The first thing we'll discuss is probably using omega-3 fatty acids and monounsaturated fats like olive oil. Oatmeal was always a big deal. Oat bran, I think, is probably even more effective because it's higher in the soluble fiber and the nutrients that help reduce cholesterol. But probably the most effective and most controversial method of naturally lowering cholesterol is using niacin. I know it's been around for a really long time, and there's been a lot of controversy about this, but one of the most effective and one of the easiest things for me to do is reducing cholesterol. And I use a number of different types of natural products to reduce that. And niacin pops up a lot. Now, I don't necessarily use the pure nicotinic acid, which a lot of people experience a flush, and it can be very uncomfortable.
Right.
I would use a like a sustained release or a timed release. And I've had tremendous success with that. And one of my really good friends could probably attest this, because I have him on an anti-cholesterol protocol, and one of the things that we use is a sustained release niacin. So I'm going to go back to the research, and the research suggests that niacin is probably the most effective means of lowering cholesterol to normal levels. And what's really unique about niacin is that it doesn't lower your cholesterol down to zero. It brings it down to a certain level, and it freezes it. It kind of holds it there. And the reason why is because niacin doesn't necessarily, it doesn't break down cholesterol. It doesn't block cholesterol. What it does is it expands and dilates the capillaries, which allows your body to transport cholesterol to the liver so it can be processed. And there's a phenomenon called red blood cell sludging, and it happens when the capillaries themselves, they get a little bit too tight, kind of like a traffic jam when you're driving on an I-4. You know, so what happens is, in order for all the traffic to move more fluidly, they have to add another lane or two. And that's kind of like what niacin does with regards to cholesterol. It prevents this sort of logjam of red blood cells, and it allows the cholesterol to be transported to the liver more effectively. So what's great about it is that it doesn't actually do anything chemically. It works mechanically, and it's enormously effective. But you have to use the right niacin. You have to have the right practitioner monitoring this, because you want to make sure that everything is working, everything's fine. And then the other thing that I would do is use something like polycosanol in addition to the dietary changes, because polycosanol is it's a fiber that comes from the sugar cane that actually prevents oxidation of cholesterol. So I kind of use both of them, and sometimes in some extreme cases I'll use like red rice seeds on top of the dietary changes. Right. But I found that to be very effective and very inexpensive, very cheap supplement.
Right, and
so
we hear so much about, you know, the bad side effects of many of the drugs that are being used, the statin drugs and things of this nature. And I think that if patients are more proactive and take the bull by the horn, so to speak, they can lower their cholesterol naturally. It's just that many patients, many physicians don't think the patient is going to do that, and so they put them on a statin drug that lowers it very rapidly. But if these patients would eat the right foods, avoid the wrong foods, do some cardiovascular exercise, do some of the things that you just mentioned, you know, practice some good nutritional and lifestyle habits, then certainly cholesterol can come down. Now, one reason we want you on the radio show today is the whole idea about eating food. So all food may not be absolutely perfect for each individual. Everybody's different, kind of like a snowflake. And so you're with a company called Hemocode that actually does food sensitivity testing, which is amazing, because now I've been using the Hemocode with many of my patients, and we adjust their diet accordingly after we get the results from the Hemocode, and we can actually fine-tune their diet. We can actually enable them to eat more of the foods that are good for them and avoid the foods that they're building up these IgE antibodies to. So for all of our listeners out there, I recommend going to a website, hemocode.com, Hemocode, hemocode.com. We're going to talk about this in much more depth here in just a second. Also, remember, use my last name. The people at Hemocode have been good enough, all of our radio listeners, to give you $100 off if you use my last name, Lange, as the promo code. So food is medicine. You are what you eat. Let's talk a little bit about how Hemocode comes into play, kind of as an anti-aging regimen for each and every body at any age.
Well, that's actually another great question. Now, the whole concept of food sensitivities is kind of like the foundation. It all starts with removing the roadblocks to normal and optimal health. And the major roadblock that most people in this country have to their health is what they're eating. And a lot of times we hear about the concept of clean eating and healthy eating, and you got to eat this way and you got to eat that way. And when I discovered this testing about 15 years ago, and I've worked with a number of different laboratories, and when I got involved with Hemocode, I brought a new technology to the company, an absolutely phenomenal technology. It's incredible, and the test reports that I get are absolutely wonderful. So helpful. No matter what comes up on it, there's always some data on there that I can use. But what I've discovered is that the major roadblock to someone's health is not whether or not the food that they're eating is healthy or considered healthy. It's how their individual body reacts to the food that they're consuming. For instance, for some people, broccoli is a very, very, very healthy food. And for other people, whenever they eat broccoli, they get sick in one way or another. It affects their body adversely. And the same thing with regards to dairy. And there are some people that do really well with wheat, and there are other people that don't. And there are some people that do great with beans and other people that don't. And there are a lot of reasons as to why. But the one thing that I've discovered is that the immune system plays a major role in what food is good for someone, what food is bad. So what we do is we look at something called delayed food allergies. Now, delayed food allergy is something that is a kind of insidious and sinister reaction to food, where you can have a reaction 4 hours to 4 days, or even a week later. And that's the part that makes it so complicated, because it's next to impossible to self-diagnose. Now, if you eat a food and 15 minutes later you break down the hives and have anaphylactic shock, you pretty much know not to eat that food again. Immediate allergies are very easy to self-diagnose. And then a lot of times you wind up going to the hospital, they give you a shot, and you get a little bracelet that says, don't eat eggs ever again.
Right. And
I remember growing up as a kid that there were some kids in school that were allergic to peanuts, they were allergic to eggs, and so on. So they couldn't be in the same room as other people that were eating peanut butter and jelly or eggs for breakfast or whatever. So delayed food allergy is really just a very, very difficult thing to self-diagnose, if not impossible. So a test was developed that allows us to take 3 to 5 droplets of blood and have our lab process analyze it and see what the reaction is by the immune system. And what we measure is something called the IgG antibody, immunoglobulin G. Now, this is a Y-shaped antibody that tags foreign bodies when it enters the bloodstream. So you eat a food, and it goes through your digestive system, and it gets transferred to your bloodstream. The IgG antibody tags it and may say, okay, this is okay, you can move through. But if it doesn't like it, it keeps tagging it until it forms like this kind of shell around it, and we call that an immune complex. And the body circulates this immune complex in the blood until white blood cells can come by and devour it and digest it. These white blood cells are called macrophages. So your immune system would recognize this food protein, whether it's partially digested or fully digested, and that's a little bit of a different issue. It doesn't matter. If the immune system doesn't like it, it doesn't like it. And it's going to digest and get, these white blood cells are going to digest and get rid of these circulating immune complexes. Now, if your immune system is weakened, or if it's overwhelmed by a lot of food allergies, or overwhelmed by a pathogenic organism like an overgrowth of like a yeast or something in your gut, there's going to be less of a capability of the immune system to remove these things from your system. So what happens is the human body deposits these immune complexes in vital parts of the body. The liver, kidneys, the eyes is a really common place, and it causes low-grade inflammation. Now, where does this come into play with anti-aging? Well, one of the major reasons why people age excessively is from inflammation and from oxidation. And anything that causes inflammation is also going to be an oxidative component. So here we have a phenomenon where someone's eating a food and then they don't even know that this food is causing inflammation and causing possibly skin problems, digestive problems, kidney problems, issues with eyesight, issues with brain function, central nervous system issues. There are even relationships between this type of allergy and developmental disabilities. So it can tie into just about every system in the body, including the adrenal system. So it can have an adverse effect on someone's ability to handle stress or an adverse effect on someone's energy levels. So what we do is we're able to go in and find foods that could be the culprit in these situations, and we would eliminate those foods and reducing the stress and the strain on the immune system, and allowing the body to clear out the remaining antibodies. We've seen tremendous results with this technology and with this method of testing over the years, and it changed my life and it changed my practice. Where every single person that I work with is, just like you said, a snowflake, but it's almost to the point where I have to almost relearn biology with each new person.
Right, right. I know since I've been on a Hemocode adjusted diet, I've actually felt better. I've taken some pounds off. I seem like I don't have to sleep as much, but my quality of sleep is much better. My skin isn't as dry anymore. And I notice many of my patients, less headaches, less dry eye symptoms, more energy, and bloating, less bloating, losing weight, overall better energy, not as tired anymore. So there really is something powerful to eliminating the foods that they're having these food sensitivities to. Let me open up the phone lines again. Just because we have Dr. Joseph on with us doesn't mean we can't take calls. If you got a question, 866-977-4820. You're listening to Ask the Doctor. And I do want to mention something, a little discount we have on something. Since we're talking about food, before we dive more into the Hemocode, there's a product that we developed at Paleo Simplified called Paleo Simplified Super Crunch. It's become huge. I mean, it's on Amazon. It's in Whole Food stores, fresh markets. It's all over. And it's a delicious, kind of like a trail mix with no oats. It is made with the purest ingredients like toasted almonds, coconut, banana chips, cranberries, pumpkin seeds. All of this with no binders, no fillers. It's organic. It's non-GMO. It's gluten-free. And it's called Paleo Simplified Super Crunch. It's great for breakfast. It's great for a snack. But here's the deal. We are going to actually give you 45% off on this. And the reason for this, I have way too many pallets of this stuff. I don't know what. We were supposed to order, say, 3 pallets, and 30 pallets came in. And so instead of me getting rid of this in the warehouse and sending it back, I'm blowing it out for this until we get down to a reasonable level. You're going to get 45% off of Paleo Simplified Super Crunch, 45% off. Use the code CRUNCH, CRUNCH. So Crunch, you can order at fortify.com. You can order at paleosimplified.com. Now, don't go to Amazon. You're not going to get the 45% off. So at fortify.com or paleosimplified.com. At the checkout, there's a promo code at the end. Put Crunch in, you're going to automatically get 45% off. Or you go into Fortify Distribution Center in Ocala, right there on 17th Street next to Wood U. You'll get the 45% off as well. This stuff is delicious, and all of you people that are gluten-free, it's a great snack for people that are gluten-free. All right, let's go back talking to Dr. Michael Joseph with Hemocode. A lot of people are a little apprehensive about going to their doctor and spending a lot of money and having food sensitivity testing done because oftentimes this is not covered by insurance. And many patients are going in and it costs $1,000. It costs $1,500 for this test and the follow-up visit at their physician's offices. And quite frankly, a lot of people don't have that much money. So you guys have really done something that I think is brilliant. You're offering it direct to the consumer via the internet. I think it's $4.99, and they get $100 off when they use my name. $3.99 for this, and you guys send them a pretty intensive report. And I think you're offering them something even more, your expertise for a period of time at no charge. Is this correct?
Yep. Until the end of the month, I'll be offering a free 1-hour video teleconference with everybody that orders the report before the end of the month. So when you get your reports, when you get your test, and excuse me, when you get your report back after doing the test, I'll be able to review the test. I'll be making some notes and annotations on it, some suggestions, and then we'll be able to set up a 1-hour consultation where I can discuss this with you and really walk you through the process of changing your life, or changing your food. And it's the sort of thing where, as wonderful as the technology is, it's great technology. I'm so proud of this technology. It's only as effective as the person interpreting the test report. And my life has been about food allergies since I got involved in this. When I discovered that I was allergic to dairy, soybean, and almonds, it changed my life because there are certain things that I couldn't do and certain things that I could do, and being able to go and share that type of information and share the science with other people is very important. So just handing someone a test is not going to be as effective as handing someone a test plus a walkthrough and a guide.
Right.
In fact, this report could be so useful and so effective that you can take it with you to the supermarket and you can shop based on the test report. And I'll teach you how to do that if that's something that is a concern. So the 1-hour consultation, I think, is a great deal. It's $140 value. And if you order the test before January 31st, you will get that free consultation. And it'll be a video consultation, or we could do it audio over the internet. I just had a couple of those consultations yesterday, and it was incredibly effective because we discovered that food allergies were not necessarily the problem, and that there's a specific antigen that we have on this test for Candida, but this person was having food allergy-like symptoms. So we found that they were negative on everything except one thing, and that's this fungal or this yeast organism called Candida. And when we discovered that, this woman's life completely opened up to new possibilities of good health, because now we found the culprit. It wasn't wheat, it wasn't dairy, it wasn't corn, it wasn't chicken, it wasn't cranberries, it wasn't kidney beans. It was an insidious organism that overgrew in her digestive system after a long series of antibiotics after surgery. So we were able to go and find this out using this test. So what's great about this new Hemocode technology is not just that it tests for 93 different foods. It has that one key antigen there that answers the question, why do some people have delayed allergy symptoms and not have actual delayed food allergies?
Right.
So this is really the key. And that's something that I can help walk someone through, because when that antigen level is high, then that could be the cause of their problem. So we have two things that we accomplish over here: food allergies, and then we start delving into microbial overgrowth in the gut. And that's where the consultation comes in, because I'll be able to go and pinpoint and isolate these things and give you, in 1 hour, a really, really great direction to go in and how you can go and change your life by changing your food.
Right. Now, how can our listeners actually contact you or order the Hemocode test?
It's very simple. Just like what you were saying, is go on to www.hemocode.com, and you can click on About Us and learn a little bit more about me. And you could go and purchase an IgG test kit, and then you could select consultation on the allergy test page. So, and also too, you can contact me directly if you have a question, and you can send me an email, which is probably the most effective way, through Hemocode. You can contact me through the customer service email, which is customerservice@hemocode.com, and that's customerservice@hemocode.com. Mm-hmm. And that's probably the easiest way to contact me. And if you have any questions about the testing, that's wonderful. We'll be happy to answer them. And remember, the free consultation ends at the end of the month, which is Wednesday.
Okay.
So get on top of this and get the testing ordered so that we can go and start scheduling consultations, because it's been getting pretty crazy. We've been getting a lot of people interested in this, and my schedule's been pretty booked. So I'm pretty happy about that. That's the best way to contact me is through Hemocode. And you can order the test and enter Dr. Lange's code and get the free consultation and get the $100 off.
Right. Now, I do want to mention, and just go over this again, I have a shellfish allergy, so I have an immediately an anaphylactic shock reaction. If I eat shrimp, I might not make it to the emergency room. So I want people to realize that this is not testing for things that you have anaphylactic shock to. This is testing for food sensitivities, and you had gone over this briefly, but that is a big difference. So if you do this test, it's not going to come back and say you're highly allergic to shrimp or peanuts, is it? Just to go over that IgE versus IgG mediated antibodies, just briefly, kind of in layman's terms for our listeners.
Very simple. IgE means immediate. IgG means delayed. So when you eat a food and you have an immediate reaction within 2 hours, the antibody that is reacting with that food is the IgE antibody. And that's usually measured using a blood draw. Now, a delayed allergy is almost always mediated by the IgG antibody, and that's anything pretty much after 2 to 4 hours later. So IgE, immediate, blood draw. IgG can be done with a finger stick test, and that's delayed, and that takes some time because the food antigen has to enter the bloodstream, whereas the IgG antibody is in the
Okay. I think I lost Dr. Joseph. No, he's still here.
I'm still here.
Oh, there
Can you
we
hear
are.
me?
We're going to take a break in just a second here, but I lost you there for just a second, I thought. But no, you're still on there. Yes, IgE versus IgG, because a lot of patients will ask me about this. If you want to hold, we got to take a quick break. Okay, Dr. Joseph?
You got it.
All right.
No problem.
Doctor, my eyes, they cannot see the sky. Is this the price for having learned how not to cry?
Hi, I'm Dr. Michael Lange. I'm a board-certified optometric physician and a certified nutritional specialist. Did you know that the majority of vitamins that you can buy over the counter are filled with synthetic nutrients, dyes, and trans fats? All of the things that are bad for you. This is why I developed Fortify Vitamins, an all-natural nutraceutical developed over years of clinical research. Fortify Complete Plus is equivalent to 10 to 12 servings of fruits and vegetables a day. This supplement is a multivitamin, eye-vitamin, veggie and fruit blend with enzymes and omega-3 fish oil, developed to promote total body wellness and healthy vision. Isn't it time that you took control of your health with Fortified Vitamins?
Take control of your health with Fortify. Learn more and order now at www.fortify.com. Available at Lange Eye Care and Associates.
All omega-3 is not created equal. Hi, I'm Dr. Michael Lange. You hear a lot of commercials that promote omega-3 products. It may be confusing. Most large studies confirming the positive health benefits of omega-3 were done with fish or fish oil. As founder of Lange Eye Care and a doctor in search of what's best for my patients, I visited Norway on a research trip to develop Fortify Super Omega, the highest quality omega-3 fish oil available. Only wild-caught fish with the highest omega-3 content are used in this formula. Produced in Norway at the only NSF and GMP certified omega-3 facility in the world, Fortify Super Omega eliminates any odor or aftertaste. It promotes heart, brain, eye, and joint health. Fortify Super Omega has 1,600 milligrams of triple refined omega-3 fish oil. Compare it to anything on the market. You won't find a more bioavailable form of omega-3. To purchase, go to fortify.com. That's FORTIFEYE.com or call 866-503-9746. That's 866-503-9746.
If you or a loved one is suffering from macular degeneration, then take note of the following information.
Hi, I'm Dr. Michael Lange. I'm a board-certified optometric physician and a certified nutritional specialist. Macular degeneration is the leading cause of blindness in patients over 55. I have personally seen thousands of patients with macular degeneration in clinical practice for over 17 years. I've seen the positive benefits that patients can realistically obtain through nutritional intervention and lifestyle modifications. I have developed a science-based nutraceutical called Fortify Complete Macular Defense that takes all of the latest nutritional research and incorporates it into one convenient daily packet. There is hope for macular degeneration through proper nutrition. Isn't it time that you took control of your health with Fortify Complete Macular Defense?
Learn more and order now at www.fortify.com. Available at Lange Eye Care and Associates.
Genesis Communications presents the show that's helping people see better and feel better all over Florida. It's Ask the Doctor with board-certified optometric physician, certified nutritional specialist, and popular radio host, Dr. Michael Lange of Lange Eye Care and Associates.
Doctor, my eyes, they cannot see the sky. Is this a prize for having learned how not to cry?
All right, good morning. Welcome back to Ask the Doctor. I'm your host, Dr. Michael Lange, with my very welcome guest, Dr. Michael Joseph from Hemocode. Do you experience bloating, migraine, stomach ache, irritable bowel syndrome? If you experience any of these, you may have a food sensitivity. So why not check it using a product called Hemocode? Also, hives and headaches. Headaches are really one of the big things that I found out many patients have alleviated when they get rid of their food intolerances. Anyway, we are talking with Dr. Michael Joseph. If you've got a question, give me a call, 1-866-977-4820. I think we do have a caller coming through, 1-866-977-4820. All right, let's see. Well, it's not blinking on my side right now. Oh, is that Bob? Bob, good morning.
Yes,
Welcome.
Yes, it is, Dr. Lange. Thanks. Third time's the charm.
We finally got through. All right, Bob. Sorry
there
about
we
that.
go. Well, this conversation this morning really has my interest. I've spoken with you that my wife of 69 years has now been diagnosed with MS. Do you think that this blood or the allergy thing would have a potential influence on her MS treatment?
Dr. Joseph, I'm going to let you chime in with Bob on that.
Hi, Bob. Nice to talk to you. I think it could be a useful tool, especially since we have that 94th antigen, which is the Candida antigen. So it could be extremely useful because MS is an autoimmune disease, and food sensitivities of this nature have been connected to autoimmune diseases as triggers. So yeah, I think it could be very effective, and the Candida antigen, I think, could shed a lot of light on what needs to be done moving forward. Especially since we have that 94th antigen.
One of you need to turn down your radio. Your radio's coming through. So either Dr. Joseph or Bob, turn your radio down.
Yeah, my radio's off, sir.
That must be Bob then.
Okay.
Bob, you still there?
Yeah.
All right, yeah, we were getting some feed through there, Bob. Hopefully that helps you out. If you want to call back, you can, Bob. We had to disconnect you because there was a lot of feedback. Let's go back to the phones. We're going to go to Steve in Lakeland. Steve, good morning. Welcome to the program.
Good morning, Doctor. Happy New Year. You know, it's so still to this day, I have a hard time convincing people, and I know this sounds absolutely insane to most of your listeners, but a lot of people still don't believe that you are what you eat.
Right,
I mean,
right.
it's amazing. But what I tell people, because I know I'm the granola guy of the family of the group all the time, is if you're not feeling well, don't eat anything for 2 days. See how you feel. At least 70 to 80% of them feel better after that. And then they still don't get it. they still don't understand. So what you're talking about with the Hemocode and so forth is just a wonderful idea, and I'm going to order it myself. It's just, I don't think there's anything that should be the first line of any health program that people have for 2018. Find out what's going on and go from there.
Right. Eliminate the bad stuff and eat more of the good stuff. I agree. Absolutely.
I mean, every morning,
we're on the same page here.
People poisoning themselves, throwing, literally pounds of garbage into their bodies, and they don't know it. And I think the thing about Hemocode is some of the people that are not throwing garbage in, they're throwing good things in, but it's the wrong good thing. So that this will straighten it all out. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Steve. Take care.
Steve. Thank you very much. That's great.
All right, we got another caller. We're going to go to PJ, and Donnellen has another question on Hemocode. Good morning, PJ.
Yes, good morning. I just received the package, the Hemocode. I ordered it.
Right.
But I do have a couple questions. Now, I don't eat eggs. This is just an example. I don't eat any eggs, so if I was allergic to them, would it still show on there even though I don't eat them?
That's a phenomenal question. That is a phenomenal question. And this is something that has been a part of my research for the past 5 or 10 years. It's entirely possible that you could take the test after not eating eggs for a period of time and the antibodies will still exist. The theory is that if you don't eat the food or if you're not exposed to the food, the antibodies will be cleared out. So it'd be really interesting to see what comes back on your test and to see if eggs really do come up. I'm suspecting you'll have some antibody reaction that'll be greater than the other antigens on the test. So we won't know until we actually perform the test.
Okay, well, I'm going to send it in on Monday. I don't know how long it takes, but I have an autoimmune disease, so I can't eat very much at this time, so I didn't know what the test would show.
Okay. Well, I'll make sure that we analyze it, and we'll set up a time where we can talk about it and come up with some solutions for you.
Okay, I thank you so much. Oh, one more thing. I didn't ask for the free consultation. I didn't understand it. Can I still get it, or is it too late?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You're already signed up.
Okay.
Perfect.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, PJ. All right, we're going to the next caller in Ocala. Colleen has a question on Hemocode.
Hi, I have a question. Yeah, I have some swelling in my legs and feet, well, mostly my ankles and feet. And I do a lot of driving. I drive for like 6-8 hours a day. Thought maybe initially that was a problem, but recently I got the flu and wasn't eating for like several days and had no problem whatsoever with the swelling. And then once I started eating again, the swelling came back. So I've been watching my sodium intake. I've been doing a lot of clean eating. It's just, it's like I can't eat. Do you think that this would help me to get that?
That's actually, that's another great question. Some of the great questions today. One of the things that I've done a lot of work with is water retention as a result of the food allergy phenomenon. So what happens is that when you're eating a food that you are intolerant to, and these immune complexes that I talked about are deposited in areas of the body, and it can be the legs as well, because there are large blood vessels going through the legs and a lot of areas where these things can be deposited. The body has to irrigate water to those regions to dilute the concentration of the immune complex deposition. So what happens is that you start having edema, and a lot of it's in your legs and in your feet. So I think that the test could be a very useful tool in helping us determine as to whether or not this is the cause of that. And that candida antigen might be the key, because that could be what's causing the overall water retention, either directly or indirectly. So I think, yes, I absolutely think it's useful.
I drink a lot of water a day too. So is that actually helping me or hurting me? I mean, like when I talk about a lot of water, like a gallon of water a day. So.
All right, we've got about 30 seconds left. Dr. Joseph, we're going to have to get off the phone here. I want to thank you for tuning in, everybody listening. Dr. Joseph, thanks for being a guest. We're going to have you as a guest again real soon.
Thank you very much, Dr. Lange. It was a pleasure.
All right, take care. I'm out of here. Have a great day. God bless you.
For having learned how not to cry.
AM 820, the new home of the Bubba the Love Sponge Show.
It's good for all of us.
We welcome all